Okay
Ayos Funny.
Okay. Ano bang speed ko ngayon? Hindi ko naman speed ko eh.
Okay speed mo kasi matino yung ano mo eh. Hindi siya grainy yung video mo.
Oh, hindi? Wow. Hindi ako VGA ngayon ha. Ukla. Hindi ako VGA.
O yung ginagawa ni Jam ngayon, nag-message sa ating dalawa, ingat daw tayong dalawa.
Ingat daw sa pagbablog siguro. Wow! Ano po speed ko ngayon ha?
Bilis?
85?
Bumabawi ngayon ng PLDT tsaka Globe. PLDT
Converge
Smart.
ako. Converge ako.
Converge ka ba? Lahat na yan, naghahanda na yan sa pagpasok ng Dito Telco.
Oo. Grabe, upload ko. 35. Pwede na yan.
March yun eh. March na pasok na yung dito sa March.
Dito?
Pumasa sila yung parang they did an audit yata, technical audit. Just recently, pumasa sila sa NTC yata eh. So may
paano hindi papasa yun partner lang, Huawei.
China Telecom.
Oo nga, pero yun nga, may mga cell sites na Huawei ang titira.
Ganun ba?
Oo.
Okay.
Kasi Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, di ba? So, kanya-kanyang region yan. So, ang Globe actually may stake din ng Globe. May mga Globe towers na gagamit na tutulong din. Babayaran sila of course. Huawei nandun. Chinatel nandun. If I'm not mistaken, Xiaomi ata nandun din. May contract din ng Xiaomi. So, dito yung umbrella. Pero, kanya-kanyang region yan.
Dito yung umbrella, dito rin yung chismis na papasok, compromise na yung security natin dahil Chinese companies yung may hawak ng dito, pati yung equipment. So, tapos ang tanong, ang pinaka-importanting tanong diyan mga kaibigan is ano bang pwedeng spy ng Chinese sa atin na hindi na nila alam.
Exactly. Tsaka kung gano'n kayo ka-paranoid, huwag kayo mag-patronize ng China or whatever China. Itapon niyo yung iPhone niyo, itapon niyo yung mga Nikes niyo, itapon niyo lahat.
They don't need to set up facilities or infrastructure for them to spy on us, no? Labo na.
Tsaka, okay, spy on us, I think it's being too assuming for Chinese government spy on you.
Kaya nga masyado namang obvious kung ano yung kakulangan natin. Dadalawa lang nga yung ating battleships eh. Tapos may namigay yung Amerikano just recently ng 2 C-130 na bago.
Yun naman yun.
Nakakatawa talaga itong mga ibang ano ba tawag dyan boy? Mga Negatron. Sabi ni Jam, the Negatron.
Mga dilaw na talangka.
Dilaw na talangka, yun pala yun. Magbago na kayo.
Dilaw na talangka at saka dilaw na latang walang laman.
Labo, malabs talaga itong mga to. Maganda yung topic namin ngayong gabi mga kaibigan. Please share the link to your friends para masaya. And we're about to start. So,
all right.
Here we Hello?
Hello? All right. Uy, dami nang nakatutok oh. Good evening po mga kaibigan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Istoryang Futbolero. My name is Ron Poblete and my good friend Bubuy Balange is with us, Mr. The Smokehouse on Facebook. Kung hindi pa kayo nakapag-order ng kanyang special bacon, ay umorder na po kayo. Kasi
let's share the link later.
Yeah. The Smokehouse po. Kagaya ng mga ibang mga kapatid niya at mga kaibigan, mga dati niyang kasamahan sa ABS-CBN na wala na sa ABS-CBN ay ano na sila lahat, sarili at nag-diversify. Ngayon ay nagbebenta na si
Of
Buboy
course.
ng mga special meat, mga pagkain. Yon ang
The link is
pinakamaganda.
yours. Andiyan na yung
Di
link.
ba? So, welcome po sa Istoryang Futbolero. Let me greet our first few mga early birds sa Istoryang Futbolero ay si May Chan, si Adrian Tapes, Daffy Daps, and si Don Pelonio. Welcome to the program, guys. Maraming salamat sa inyong
Good evening, good evening.
sa Istoryang Futbolero. I never thought, boy, na I'm gonna end up doing a Taglish program. Alam mo naman na matagal rin tayo nagtrabaho sa radyo, 20 years. At medyo slang tayo doon. American English
Yeah.
ang ginamit dahil FM. At ngayon biglang, wow! Kung merong mga iba sa ating mga kababayan nagrereklamo na too much English, nosebleed, ako nagno-nosebleed naman sa sobrang Tagalog. At naubos na yata yung aking Tagalog. Kasi syempre, nung lumaki tayo sa Davao, ay halong Tagalog at Bisaya yung language na ginagamit and syempre English. So ngayon,
Mas komportable ang mga Bisaya mag-English.
oo, sa totoo lang mas komportable mag-English ang mga Bisaya. Pero pag tinanong mo yung mga Cebuano, talagang sinasadya nilang hindi mag-Tagalog.
Which is fine,
Yon.
Okay lang yun.
Okay lang naman yun. So going back to what our conversation earlier, Boy, about itong impending launch ng dito, yung official launch nila is happening this March, ay maraming sa ating mga kababayan na excited about that kasi finally, meron ng kompetensya ang Smart at Globe. Matagal na natin antayin na magkaroon ng third player at alam naman natin ang disadvantage of having a duopoly in a country. If you have only two competing with each other, they can easily say, you know what, we're going to set the price really high. Yung ating subscriptions na tinatawag ay magiging ganito kataas at walang magagawa yung mga consumers dahil dalawa lang yung pwedeng pagpilian. At buti nga, Boy, meron kang Converge eh. Kasi yung Converge medyo recent player lang yan, di ba?
Yeah, and Converge is also kay Dennis Uy din yan. Di ba?
No, but that's a different Dennis Uy yata, Boy. Ibang Dennis Uy
talaga?
yan. Oo, ibang Dennis Uy yan. Dalawang Dennis Uy ang involved po sa telco ngayon.
I
Kasi
didn't know that.
Yung aking, I just recently found out that the owner of, or probably a major stockholder, or controlling stock, or sige na nga, owner ng Converge, Dennis Uy rin pangalan. At siya yung binabanggit
CEO, right?
na ano yata, merong prospect of tying up with Elon Musk for his satellite link company. Which is under works na ngayon ay medyo alanganin. Pero ito lahat chismis lang ito mga kaibigan na don't take my word for it. But yung huling balita is ang Starlink ay nagdadalawang isip na mag-partner or mag-set up base dito sa Pilipinas dahil meron tayong 60-40 na tinatawag. Yung word 60-40. Dito ang Dennis Uy from Davao. Pero yung Starlink Converge na ibang company is not a different Dennis Uy, if I'm not mistaken.
Sabi nga ni Santi Santero, Dennis Uy from Pampanga.
So may Dennis Uy from Pampanga at Dennis Uy from Davao. So magkaiba po yung dalawa. It's funny that we have two ways.
Yeah. And both names are into telecoms.
Di ba? Ang galing Dennis versus Dennis kung nagkataon na. Kunyaring biglang lumaki ang Converge. At ang dito ay naging number 1 telco, Dennis versus Dennis yung Dennis Uy versus Dennis Uy. Ang ganda ng headlines.
Salamat Santi sa pagkaklaro ha. Okay, salamat.
Thank you. Alam mo naman yung ating mga viewers napakatalino na mga yan at parating updated sa mga balita. Kaya ang dali lang kung meron tayong nakakalimutan na pangalan, ay tanong lang natin sa mga viewers natin at alam na alam nila kung ano ang sagot.
Oo
At
nga eh.
syempre, unlike before, back in the 90s, you'll have to really go out of your way. It takes a find out what the real what what is the accurate information kasi wala pang internet ngayon talagang lahat ng tao pag nakikinig Google ka agad sino ba to siya
Ayun, information at the tip of your finger, at your fingertips. Ang mabilis.
mm Ngayon, boy, interesting kasi alam mo, I've been like most people who are stuck at home dahil nag-iingat sa COVID, ay napapadalas yung aking pagnood ng Netflix. At ang maganda dito, kasi alam mo guys, na-realize ko nga na medyo nasa mag-iisang taon na tayong nasa pandemic, di ba? Feeling ko
Yeah.
nga parang kulang yung aking productivity. Although I've been helping government, sa mga campaigns, pero naisip ko, in terms of self-improvement, mukhang kulang. Kasi ang grabe dami nating oras, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Na tenga at marami talaga tayong time na mag-aral ng mga bagay na hindi pa natin natutunan. And so, in the process of watching Netflix, I was able to come across a few documentaries. That's my favorite, guys. Mahilig ako sa mga documentary kasi totoong buhay at you learn a thing or two, no, from the experience of others. And most of the time, since it's Netflix, it's all about issues that are happening in the United States na sad to say, marami sa ating mga Pilipino ay medyo Americanized. Parati nating sinusubaybayan kung ano nangyari sa Amerika. Kala mo to mga Pilipino, nagbumoto ng US elections eh.
Oo
Lahat
nga
may
eh.
stake. Wow, si wala yan si Trump, dapat matalo yan or ganyan or iba naman Trump na supporters. At they
Andun
have
pa rin
a
yung,
thing
yung western mentality eh.
oh, 'di ba? Hindi talaga nila maiwasan na hindi makisawsaw kahit na yung mga truly American cultural na na holidays, for example, like
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Nakiki-Thanksgiving rin yung mga Pinoy.
Hindi man na nila alam kung bakit nagkaroon ng Thanksgiving.
At saka, di ba, very controversial nga yung Thanksgiving na yan kasi behind the backstory of that particular holiday is basically Americans celebrating defeating the Indians. And
Yep.
there's so much blood involved in that holiday kasi a lot of American Indians actually died because of these foreigners who came to their land. They're the original settlers, di ba? Boy, yung
Yeah.
mga Indian Americans. At
Actually,
itong
pag-aagaw ng lupa yun eh.
correct. Kaya nga medyo kailangan din siguro we should brush up on our history. Dapat alam natin kung ano yung mga sineselebrate na yun, bakit nila sineselebrate yan. At ang ito, tingnan mo si Evelyn Toronto, nakikinig pala yung ating regular from Toronto, Canada. Watching from windy, snowy Monday morning here in Toronto. It's 9:20 in the morning in Toronto right now. So good morning to you, Evelyn. Miss Evelyn, salamat sa iyong pagkinig. Yan.
Good morning.
Sabi ni Ronan Diet, it's good to watch The Crown and Borgen to have a few touch on how parliamentary system works. Yeah, Ronan, I was able to watch a few episodes of The Crown and Borgen. Totoo, very very interesting rin yung system of government ng England. But yung pinakamaganda na napanood ko just recently, boy, that I highly recommend, no? That I think is a little bit applicable to our current situation here in the Philippines is a series, a docu-series called College in Prison. Chinek mo ba sa buhay nung...
Hindi pa eh.
Hindi pa. Pero there's I hope I got the title right, no? Kasi paminsan makalimutan din ako sa mga title. Pero College in Prison is actually it's based on the program initially initially funded by the government, but it became so controversial that they had to um, let go of that program, and then the private sector stepped in and sponsored it. So
Mhm.
basically, ang nangyari dyan, maximum, ang tawag nito? Security prison. Nagkaroon sila ng college program. So
Okay.
yung mga preso, meron silang pagkakataon na mag-aral. So kaya naging controversial kasi sabi ng mga ibang ibang Amerikano, sabi na bakit mo naman papag-aralin 'tong mga preso na 'to? Kaya nga nasa presuhan eh. Dahil nagkasala, 'di ba? Bakit mo sila bibigyan ng ganung benepisyo? Karamihan sa mga Amerikano nagbabayad ng kolehiyo at 'di ba? Hindi lahat nakakapag-college. And even the armed guards of this prison resent the fact that some of the armed guards resent the fact that these prisoners are gaining education, higher education. Ayun, College Behind Bars. Tama ka, Ronan. College Behind Bars. Yun pala ang yung exact title na sinasabi ko. So,
Mm.
um, alam niyo guys, may takeaway kasi from this series. It's a very alam mo may parts doon in latter episodes of the show that it pulls the heartstrings. And I got a little bit teary-eyed seeing these prisoners na nagbago talaga buhay because they got an education. And it's so impressive rin buhay na what they finished is high school lang. They got their GED. GED tawag sa pag sa Amerika pag
GD.
gusto mo, 'di ba? Pag hindi ka nakatapos ng high school, you take the GED to para lang to see if you qualify as a high school graduate. If you take the GED, you pass considered as a high school graduate ka na.
Ganon din
So
sa South Korea.
Ganda rin ba sa South Korea? Okay, cool.
GED rin.
So itong mga ito they took up college courses, and mga teachers nila talagang mga magagaling rin na mga professors from all these prestigious schools. One of them teaches in MIT, and he teaches the same course doon sa sa tinatawag nilang Bard College ang pangalan eh. And it's the same curriculum. So you'll be surprised that most of these convicts, prisoners, actually are performing really well. You know why? They're performing really well because they don't have anything better to do.
Yeah.
Wala silang distraction sa kulungan, di ba? So wala silang ginawa kundi mag-aral. Tapos they're so hungry for education, no? They're hungry to learn. Iba talaga yung kanilang they don't have anything to do, might as well learn. And then one of them actually learned German in prison, and
Wow.
then he became fluent in German. His college thesis niya is in German, studying the German culture in society. Sabi ko, wow, astig to. And then when you listen to them explain things, doon ka lalong ma-impress kasi parang, wow, they sound so academic, and parang they really absorb all this information, and it makes you think na we shouldn't underestimate people who are talaga na mahihirap. Meron pala talaga silang, if they're given the rights, if they're in the right circumstances, given the chance that they get quality education, this can actually improve their lives. And my point here talaga, boy, the reason why I really enjoyed this particular docu-series is it would appear, and meron pa silang numbers ito, Boya, to support it. Kaso medyo controversial nga because Americans think that they should be punished for their crimes. They shouldn't be afforded these benefits. But what happened there, based on the study, may tinatawag na term na recidivist, diba? Yung mga preso na lumabas at bumabalik dahil they commit a crime again. Based on the study, ang general population, yung mga preso pag nakalabas, 50% of the time they come back in. Or
Okay.
50
Without
plus
the program, Without the program.
Ito yung mga walang yung mga regular mga preso lang na pinalabas na who went back to society, they end up committing a crime again, they come back to prison. Yung mga who took up college courses, who went to BARD, yung special program ng itong particular prison facility in upstate New York,
Yeah.
only 10% come back to prison. So ibig sabihin, they do really well. Because all of a sudden, because they were able to develop themselves through education, ay talagang nagbago buhay nila. So it begs the question na, alam mo, ito yung missing part kasi sa whole, uh, people might think, why are we talking about, say, for example, the drug war dito sa Pilipinas, di ba? Na
Yeah.
COVID yung problema. The problem, guys, ang reality natin is we are not one-dimensional beings. We are not a one-dimensional nation na porket meron tayong problema sa COVID, COVID na lang yung bibigyan natin ng atensyon. Ngayon na nagkaroon ng nasalanta yung mga kapatid natin sa Caraga region, ay yun lang papag-usapan natin. Merong mga issues na talagang pa rin. It's ongoing na we need to address all the time. And one of them happens to be the president's drug war. So, ang hindi alam ng mga tao, boy, napakalaki ng mga cases sa ating drug war or ating mga tinatawag nating mga surrenderies.
Yeah.
Yung mga who volunteered themselves to nagbalik loob na yung dahil sa yung tinitira nilang programa ng gobyerno before, yung anong tawag ito, boy? Parati nilang tinitira yung programa ng PNP na yan tukhang. Tukhang. Karamihan sa mga natukhang actually ay nagbago ang buhay. Ngayon, at marami dun sa mga nagbago ng buhay ay talagang pumasok sa rehab. As a matter of fact, thousands and thousands of drug addicts actually went through a program. And if you, as an example, and recently we just had somebody who talked about Boracay last week with Attorney Glenn Chong, ay marami doon sa mga nag-i-issue kasi ito, boy, meron kasi mga medyo abusado rin na police doon sa Boracay na nagtitake advantage of the drug war. Sometimes there are certain elements of the PNP who use this blanket authority because of this program to abuse, no? Meron dito ka maiwasan ng mga tao. May mga loko-loko taga. Yung lang doon is one thing that I hope we get the chance to talk to Attorney Glenn again this Wednesday. But one of the people who got victimized there sa Boracay is a former drug addict. And the reason why he was victimized by this particular policeman or this group of policemen is because he's on the list. He was on the list. And the thing is, if you ask this person, that's why our friend talaga was very supportive in trying to get him out of jail. Is this guy talked to him about reforming, and ever since President Duterte daw came into power in 2016, ay talagang nagbago na siya. Hindi na talaga siya nagdodroga. Alam mo yun?
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So I was just putting things together na talagang this is not just about killings or kasi iba, syempre, in-exaggerate nila kaya nagkakaroon ng nagpa-file sila ng mga cases internationally because they want to make it appear that the president is bloodthirsty. But the truth is, most of the time, drug operations involve rehabilitation and
reform.
And reform. And thousands of our Filipino brethren have already committed in that program and now have lived normal lives, who have picked themselves up and who've actually improved and they've become an asset to society. So talagang yun lang ang gusto ko sanang i-bring up ngayon, boy, initially in our program sa Istoryang Futbolero, na sana po ay alam natin na marami tayong mga Pilipino, hindi lang yung isang side ng kwento ang nakikita nila, na paminsan syempre binabalik-balik yan ng mga ng mga kaliwa at ng mga dilawan na ano talaga to, abusado tong gobyerno na to, ang dami nang namatay sa drug war. Pero sa totoo lang, mas di hamak na sobrang mas marami talaga ang mga nagbago. Ikaw, Boy,
Yeah.
anong take mo dyan sa ano na yan? Hi!
Sorry.
Si Cutie, oh.
Mga kaibigan, anak ko yun ako.
Ah,
Anyway,
you're saying?
yung ang quick thought ko kasi right now, yung penal program natin ngayon, meron namang may mga internal program sila na kunyari kung hindi man lang education, they have sort of livelihood programs that they teach the inmates. Yung iba sila yung gumagawa sila ng mga religious figures na carved from wood. Iba gumagawa parang what's the right term? Parang malaking cottage industry inside. No, yung actually sa ibang bansa nga nakakontrata yung yung paggawa ng plaka ng kotse sa bilibid.
Sa bilibid, no?
Sa bilibid, oh. I mean, yung mga ganun, just to keep them busy, just to keep their minds off doing crime. Dito sa Pilipinas kasi, unfortunately, sa labas nga ng penal system, yung edukasyon medyo hindi pa ganun kapulido unlike other first world countries. Sad to say. Of course, kaya ba? Ang tanong ko ngayon, I'm gonna jump tagan already. Let's say if the Philippines adopt this BARD program, sino ba in the top 3 universities will agree and send the best educators there and teach drug users, drug pushers, murderers, rapists, thieves, what have you? Payag ba sila? Diba? Or payag ba? Ilagay na natin yung i-uproot na natin yung ilagay natin sa real situation in the Philippines. Una, papayag ba ang mga educators to educate these criminals? Number 1. Number 2, papayag ba ang mga tao to actually use taxpayers' money to fund the program? Sweldohan yung mga teachers, ponduhan ng mga library, ponduhan ng mga laboratories, ponduhan ang faculty. Payag ba sila? I mean, it's a huge, tama kayo, it's gonna be very controversial. Will it work here? I don't know, but it's a noble idea. Pero, yun nga kasi ito, ang takeaway ko, kung dun sa BART, putya, papasok na ako dun sa kulungan. Gagawa ako ng katarantaduhan, papasok ako sa kulungan para magkaroon ako ng college education. Libre pa. Di ba? Libre pa. O ngayon, kung hindi masama yun, dahil, hello, legal di ba? Pero kung titignan ng ibang tao, teka nga, oo nga, pwede mangyari, pwede abusuin yung system ng gano'n. But, the question is, kasi I haven't watched the docu, no? The question is, doon pa sa docu, sinabi ba, meron ba silang sistema are you qualified? Kasi di mo kasi pwede lahat, di ba? Are you qualified to be educated and be reformed? Kasi, I'm sure, I'm hoping, I'm sure na dapat merong test or whatever. Ano bang tawag dito? I can't find the right word. Parang evaluation. Na kunyari, ikaw Ron. Ito si Ron, nang rape ng 3 yan. Qualified ba yan? Is he psychologically capable to hold his own and pursue a degree in business? I mean, pwede ba? Kung hindi ka pumasa, I think pwede. Doon ka sa isolation booth or the maximum security prison. Wala magwalis ka diyan, magtanim ka ng kamote, whatever. Pero hindi ka qualified para sa BS admin, whatever. May ganun ba? I'm not sure. Kasi kung meron, maybe it can work, no? Hindi kasi dapat lahat qualified kung tutusin. Dapat they should mirror the outside world na hindi ka basta-basta pwede makapasok sa Lasal, UP, Ateneo, whatever. Kung hindi ka may UPCAT, kung wala kang di ba, entrance exam. Dapat ganun din doon. I'm guessing. Kasi it just makes sense na meron.
I think may hindi lang siguro pinalabas dun sa hindi pinalabas dun sa documentary kung paano sila nag-qualify, but from what I gathered na watching it, parang voluntary siya eh. And obviously hindi naman lahat ng mga hindi naman lahat ng mga prisoners interested in education. There's just probably a few of them who would volunteer their time. Kasi it's really hard work rin, boy. Pag nakikita mo rin, kinikwento nila, talagang halos hindi sila natutulog, nag-aaral lang buong gabi. Kasi nag-aaral sila tahimik. Yun yung time na tahimik sa presuhan. So gising sila from 11 to 2 in the morning, nagbabasa lang sila the whole time. So it really requires a bit of dedication on the part of somebody who took the program. So that's one thing for sure. Actually, meron tayong mga comments also from our viewers, kasi syempre may contention dyan na unahin muna natin yung mga, kasi ang dami sa ating mga kababayan na kulang sa edukasyon. Actually, napag-usapan nga namin, sino ba yung nakausap ko kanina, na merong karamihan ng ating mga mahihirap ay they're not able to receive quality education. And if you go to their schools, dilapidated yung mga facilities, tapos yung mga kanilang mga teachers nila ay hindi rin, you wouldn't compare them to the ones who are teaching in Ateneo or Lasal or UP. Hindi ganun ka malayo yung kumbaga yung discrepancy in terms of quality. Gusto ko lang ikwento rin, boy, meron silang debate class doon sa may debate class yung kailang BART program. And yung mga nag-participate doon sa kanilang debate class, meron silang mga special engagement with different schools. So there was one time they were pitted against Vermont, College of Vermont. Tapos meron silang one time they were pitted against the students of West Point. And finally, yung pinakahuli nilang engagement was they went up against the number one debate team in the country, the Debate Society of Harvard. And guess what? Pare, nanalo sila. Solid. Ito rin, inisip ko rin kasi, syempre, in terms of preparation, wala naman silang ibang ginagawa kundi mag-prepare for that debate, di ba?
Yeah,
for the way they articulated their ideas, you wouldn't think that they're prisoners. Yun ang maganda doon. And
were these participants hardcore criminals or just,
Oh yeah, killers.
Kasi nasa maximum security prison nga pala sila.
Maximum security prison. Isa, nakapatay siya dahil it's a robbery that gone wrong. Yung isa naman, belonged in the gang, and then, guy got into a fight, shot the guy, died, kaya siya nandun sa kulungan.
Wala naman serial killer na nag-excel.
Wala naman. Iba naman siguro. Nasa ibang maximum security prison yata yung mga psycho eh. Pero ito yung mga, alam mo yun na napunta sa masamang neighborhood, or they live in a neighborhood na talagang dangerous and they became criminals themselves. Mga ganang klaseng situation who belong in a one-parent household. Tapos they ended up hanging out with the wrong kind of people. Yung mga ganong klaseng kwento na they committed the crime when they were a teenager, 18 years old, 15 years old, 7, ganon.
Misguided.
They've been there for like 10 years already in prison, and they're serving a 30-year alam mo yun?
Wow.
30-year na ang tawag nito? Sentence, 30-year sentence. So may ganon. And maganda nga na napag-usapan natin kasi hindi naman I'm sure we'll end up debating the merits of having a program in our Bilibids, no? Kasi syempre unang-una ito mga karamihan sa ating mga, first of all, marami sa ating mga kababayan na napunta sa masamang gawain ay totally undereducated. You can't even they can even probably string a few sentences in English. So if you're gonna teach them a program that is that will require the English language as the medium, then that will be a challenge. And like in the United States, at least meron silang basic, language is their English is their first language.
Yeah.
And so there's, kumbaga, meron na silang um, meron na silang foundation for them to pursue further studies. Hindi kagaya dito na medyo kailangan ng konting effort, baka bumalik pa tayo sa alphabet test. Okay. Anyway,
ako nga, ano ko yung, for me, I don't think yung language would be a big barrier, or at the very least, ano siya, factor of consideration when educating either criminals or the ordinary citizens na walang ginawang kasalanan. Kasi ito mo, case in point, sa mga bansa na hindi English ang first language na, like in Asia, there's Korea and Japan na first world, pero hindi English ang kanilang medium of communication. Yet they have brilliant minds graduating from that country. Sila pa yung may mga nagpa-pioneer on sciences, on social sciences, on practical arts. I don't think language is an issue. It depends on what and how the educational system works. Hindi siguro yung lingwahe. Actually, sa France nga, di ba?
Actually, I have one person in mind, boy, na pwede nating gawing example. I remember talking about this janitor who works for the Comelec. Remember this guy? He supported himself to
college.
College law school din. So yung janitor siya sa Comelec, nag-aral siya sa law school. He didn't earn enough, obviously. So he would actually, there were times that he wouldn't eat so that he can save money for his tuition. And then he ended up graduating and even passing the bar.
Cool, first diba? Try, First try, man. First try.
Kayang-kaya talaga yun.
Kayang-kaya, oo.
Tama yung ibang viewers dito, no? Sabi nga ni Sue Santos, ay very interesting yung topic, proves that education is the key to a better future. I think may kulang tayo doon, boy, no? Hindi talaga tayo, wala pa rin tayong mga tipong mga progressive ideas or ideas na we haven't been as creative as we would ideally would want us to be.
Actually, andun ka na kagad sa creativity. Ako andun pa ako sa fundamentals eh. Take a look at our public schools. Take a look at the modules right now. Right now, yung mga modules na nakita mo na umiikot sa Facebook, newsfeed ninyong lahat, na mali-mali ang grammar, sa module mismo ng DepEd. Yun pa lang mali-mali na yung grammar, mali-mali na yung political correctness. Bakit hindi nire-revise? Where is the effort? Where is the effort? Consciousness? The consciousness
effort.
The conscious effort to elevate it. Bakit wala? Tamad ba? Wala bang pondo? Do they don't care? What is it? What's the reason behind it? Kasi it's so easy. Kumuha ka ng isang team ng DepEd. Ayusin nyo yan. Ayusin nyo lahat yan. Ano yung mga mali? Lahat-lahat. Pag naayos yan, tsaka nyo i-roll out.
Alam mo ba ang pinaka...
Doon pa lang eh.
Can you guess can you guess the infamous word that can be used to describe government? Yung tipong bad word, a word that best describes our bureaucracy.
You're asking me? Pwede.
You hear this all the time, no? If you talk about, especially if you talk about regular government employees or the plantilla system in government, and having the government having a hard time, no? weeding
Pwede.
out the
Corruption.
undesirables or the incompetent people who work in government?
Mm.
It's compliance.
Yeah.
Compliance has become such a bad word because um, it describes an attitude of some of the people who work in government, that we've been here for a long time, no one can get rid of us, and if somebody asks us to do something, we will just comply, but we will not think about it hard. You know what I mean? We're not gonna
Tama
do our
din.
we're not gonna do our
Yun
best.
nga.
We're just
Yun
gonna
nga.
we're just gonna
Tamad.
comply with what the requirements are. Kumbaga bare minimum lahat. So if the education system requires us to report for work 9 to 5, we will be there 9 to 5. But yung aming the effort that we'll put onto our jobs to teach students to become better citizens or become better human beings, we will not really make an effort. Because first of all, we don't even know how to do that. You know what I mean?
Yun nga eh. Yun nga
Yun ang
eh.
hirap yan. Diba? And yun yung challenge natin. If only nga, that's the one of the things talaga that we should really, talagang we should focus on as people, na we should pressure our government officials, especially the ones who are creating the laws, no? Our lawmakers, na look, we have a problem with our education. What needs to be done? Diba?
Exactly.
What can we do for our poor segment of our society, the ones who can't afford a good education? How can we help them improve the level of education that we give these kids who belong to these informal settlements? Diba? Kasi unang-una yung mga parents nila, sila mismo, hindi sila undereducated rin sila eh. Or uneducated sometimes, no? To teach their students. It's a good
Tsaka,
thing.
Ron,
Oh.
ano lang they also have this dilemma na reality check din yun eh. Pag-aaralin ko ba maghihirap ba ako as bilang magulang para pag-aralin yung anak ko sa grade 1? O pagtatrabahuhin ko siya para kumita siya, para may katulong ko sa pagpapakain sa 7 ko pang mga anak. Alam mo yun? So that's yun eh. Yun yung bilang magulang, yun ang titimbangin nila eh. Siyempre, obviously, no-brainer yun. Magtrabaho ka kasi kailangan natin kumain bukas. Diba? Isang tuka eh. O magtrabaho ka. O magbenta ka ng shabu. Diba? Ganun yun. Kasi kailangan natin pera.
Manglimos ka doon sa kanto ng Buendia.
Exactly.
Diba?
Ganun. So education takes a backseat dahil nga sobrang hirap. So chicken or the egg yan eh. Ba't ka naghirap? Kasi wala kang edukasyon. So wala kang edukasyon, mahirap ka. Di ba? So rock in a hard place. Sa lugar. Eh ang unang-unang concern mo is, may kakainin ba ako bukas? Tsaka pamilya ko may kakainin mo bukas. Yun eh.
Imagine that this is no joke, guys, kasi una-una, that's a large segment of our country. And first of all, those who are complaining about the quality of politicians that we have, we can attribute that to that segment of society because they don't know better. They're the ones who are susceptible to gimmicks by politicians, to dance numbers and song numbers. Madali silang pasayahin. Bigyan mo lang sila ng 500 pesos, kaya na nilang...
Pero walang sumaya doon sa pagbigyan ng spaghetti ha. Walang sumaya doon.
Kaya nga, may mga kagaya ng kakilala natin na tingin na dinadaan sa spaghetti na may
black
olives and mamimigay sa tapos pa-photo op siya. Kasi ang pananaw ng mga politicians na kagaya ni ano pangalan niya ulit? Si Madams L, ay tingin nila na bobo ang ating mga kababayan na pag binigyan lang nila ng spaghetti at makita to ng iba na kagaya nila, ang isipin kaagad ay ang bait naman ni Madams. Siya siguro bobotohin ko kasi talagang may pakialam siya at she cares. Diba? Ganun yung mentality. At bakit po yan ang reason kaya yung ating mga politicians are going back to the same gimmicks? Because they know for a fact that most of the our countrymen are uneducated or undereducated. So
Grabe, no?
talaga
Yung
oh, di ba?
insulto.
Yun ang insulto doon na ginagago na tayo at talagang papabayaan ka pa na ganyan ka na ignorante ka. Kasi sila ang nagbe-benefit doon eh. They can
Ano yung
maintain the
Ron?
they
Ano
can
yung
maintain the
parables?
status quo.
Naalala ko tuloy yung parable sa Biblia na ano yung ano teach a man to fish, di ba? You don't give the man fish, you teach the man to fish.
Mm.
Para siya yung kumayod sa sarili niya, siya ano yun.
Mm.
Ganun lang kasi sa akin, ganun lang kasimple yun eh. Parang kung ako si Madam, di ba? Ba't ako magbibigay ng, ganito lang, I am the traditional trapo. Okay? Tatakbo ko sa 2022. Hindi ako bibigay ng 500, hindi ako bibigay ng spaghetti, hindi ako sasayaw. I mean, ang gagawin ko, wala kang ano, kulang ka sa dunong, tuturuan kita. Para kahit hindi ako manalo, nakinabang ka sa akin. I mean, di ba? Hindi, anong galing mo? Dati po akong karpintero, pero wala akong trabaho kasi pandemic. Ito ang ano, itong gawa tayo ng ano, gawa nating negosyo pag yung karpintero mo, gumawa ka ng muebles, magbenta ka ng muebles. I mean, it's arming them instead of just spoon feeding them.
You know,
Armahan mo.
tama ka dyan, boy. You know, kagaya ng, may ano dito may comment dito si Ron and Dayot na I want to address. Massive poverty is the reason, Ron, and further, the lack of decent jobs and or fair access to diverse economic opportunities in the country ay wala tayo noon. Tama naman yung comment na yon. Pero ang gusto ko lang i-point out, no, itanong po natin sa sarili natin, bakit po merong massive poverty na phenomenon or
Yes.
tinatawag? Bakit ba maraming mahihirap? And we can do so. We can actually probably deduce based on what we know about history. We can even go to historical events that have transpired in other countries. Kasi alam mo, intertwined
Yeah.
tong global phenomenon of poverty all over the world. Believe it or not.
Hindi lang sa Pilipinas maraming mahirap, ha?
Correct. Tingnan nyo gawin nating example yung ating mga idol na Amerikano.
No, Mita, I'll cut you there. Kakapanood ko lang ng isang docu din eh. Isang mga mahirap na lugar sa Skid Row sa US.
LA. Oh, sa LA. Okay.
Sa LA, isang mahabang ano yun
Bloke.
na bloke na natutulog ang mga mahihirap doon, the homeless na naka-tent, no, naka-tent, tapos may mga drum na doon sila nagpapainit ng katawan kasi malamig nga doon, and they live off selling drugs, prostitution, at saka welfare. Okay, so ganun, iba lang ang form, siguro iba lang ang lugar, iba lang yung mga tao, pero it's all the same thing. Kahirapan lang din talaga yun. Kahirapan, katamaran, mag-edukasyon, sa halo-halo na talaga. So,
Pero
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, boy. Finish it.
Massive poverty, not only here in our country. Case in point, sa US, marami rin mahihirap in different forms. Pero massive poverty rin yun. Marami rin sa Europa, yung mga ano doon yung mga gypsies na actually another form of poverty pagiging gypsies, palipat-lipat ka na namamalimos ka ng kokon ka ng mga tao, o kahirapan din yun kasi hindi naman sila kasama sa middle class eh. Anybody who's not in the middle class is also poor.
So ito, boy.
Urban poor.
Let's try to figure it out, no? Kasi it's a good thing that God gave us a brain, no, so we can think about our lives and figure out how to make it better. You know,
pinapatama mo si Lenny, ha?
So, historically, gamitin natin yung example, yung ating mga idol na Amerikano. So, paano ba yung nagsimula yung United States of America? It was founded, unfortunately, on the backs of slavery. You know,
Yes.
all these uh, white people from Europe came to the Americas,
White supremacy.
and then they brought with them a bunch of slaves because they didn't want to till the land themselves. They wanted other
Yes.
people whom they thought were lower kinds of human beings to do the work for them. And if you think about it, can you imagine a workforce that were educated enough? If everyone were educated, do you think we will have people who will till the lands, who will do menial labor?
No.
I don't think so,
No. Of
right?
course not. No.
So it's
Kasi ikaw,
very
ikaw, ikaw,
oh,
ikaw, Ron. Binigyan ka ng binigyan tayong utak. Itong mga nanonood sa binigyan tayo ng mga utak. Sa tingin mo ba, ikaw ba, sarili mong lupa o lupa ng mga ibang may-ari? Ano mo, sasakahin mo, hindi sa'yo yun?
Siyempre hindi, lalong-lalo na kung
Oo,
alam mo paano magbenta ng palay. Hayaan mo yung si iba
exactly. Exactly.
mag-araro. Tapos kung ano
So,
yung produkto,
wag na tayo lumayo. Wag tayo lumayo. Anong ginawa sa Luisita? Sa Hacienda Luisita. Oh. And also the Kidapawan farmers. Wag tayong
oh,
lumayo. Yun
oh,
lang yun eh.
sige, wag na tayong lumayo. Bumalik tayo ng, I mean, let's ride a time machine and go back to the time of the Spaniards, nung mga
Yes,
Espanyol,
o yun. Isa pa
when
yun.
they invaded us, or di ba, first thing they did is they subjugated an entire tribe of Filipinos, or a number of tribes in the Philippines, which included the tribes led by a national hero, Lapu-Lapu. Di ba, what they did was, they used religion to sort of,
Yeah.
as a way for them to justify
They weaponized it.
subjugating race. Di ba? They controlled, they wanted our resources. They
Yeah,
wanted
they
the
control the
spices.
taxes, they control the economy, they control the politics.
And they also needed the labor. So
Yeah.
they made these people into laborers, farmers, and whatnot, and then they enjoyed the comforts of their palaces, while the natives did the jobs for them. And
Sa
so,
US, it's slavery na black slavery, right?
oh,
Sa
ganun
atin
nga
naman
eh.
sa atin
And,
Indio, sa kanila Indios.
alala mo nung nagkaroon ng gold rush sa California, and then they
Mm.
felt there's a need to connect all the different states in the United States. So they put up trains, diba? So it's in miles and miles, kilometers, thousands of kilometers of rail tracks. Who did the menial? Sino yung naggumawa? Sino yung hard? Who
No
did the
hard
hard?
labor. Yung mga slaves.
400,000 Chinese. So
Grabe.
they welcomed the Chinese to America, and then they built the rail tracks, the railroads. Ngayon, I think it's a proven thing. I think I've heard this so many times already. If you want to control a population, make sure to
They're not
control.
educated.
Don't
Yes,
educate,
that's true.
diba?
Very,
And
very true.
that's exactly what's happening right now with a majority of our population here in the Philippines are either uneducated or undereducated. And you know how it is, right? It Sorry boy ha, pero dun sa dating yung ex-employer mo, yung ABS-CBN, may kapakanan, may ano rin yan, may contribution diyan sa lack of education ng ating mga Pilipino. Dahil
Kasi, let's go. Don't get me started over na ko. Let's go. Education, di ba? We'll talk about education. But they don't want to educate. Sa kanila, it's more of EQ over IQ.
mm,
Okay, so maganda ang not in their defense, pero maganda ang intention na manonood ka ng soap opera, ng telenovela, manonood ka, it will tug at your heartstrings. The value of family, the value of friendship, love, care, whatever, what have you. Maganda naman yun eh. I'm not saying it's wrong. Maganda yun, maganda yun. Pero hanggang doon lang. Okay, asa naman yung dito? Puro dito eh. Wala
Mm.
to. Okay, yung mga nandito, ilan, ano na handful. Let's say, matanglawin lang siguro. Yun lang. Even the news sucks, di ba? Only the
Mm.
bad is reported and not more of the good. Ah,
They,
matanglawin lang talaga.
they saturate the
Walang,
airway
yeah.
with sensationalism or sensational news
Kasi
or
tabloid na eh.
type of programming, and
Kahit,
what it
di ba?
worsens yung level of understanding ng tao. Lalong-lalo na yung mga tao na kulang sa edukasyon kasi hindi naman sila exposed sa mga intricacies of
Yes.
human um, humanities or sociology. Wala naman silang kaalaman sa ganyan eh. So hindi nila naintindihan even psychology on why they experience or feel certain
Wala.
things about
Tsaka
others
ano
or how
eh, ano rin, dinidikta rin syempre kasi it's more than, at the end of the day, it's a business. Negosyo yan. Family business yan at the end of the day. So, having said that, yung advertisers ang nasusunod. Okay? Sabi, ay, masyadong matalino yan sa target market ko eh. Ang aking produkto eh, ketchup lang naman.
uh,
Oh, pwede bang gawa tayo ng ano po? Mag-advertise ako sa'yo pero gawa ka ng medyo hindi ganun katalinuhan na programa. O bibiling ko yan. Gusto mo, akin na yung programa yan eh. To the tune of what? 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. Akin na yan. O di, as a negosyante, as a businessman, uy, okay yun ah. Gagawa lang ako ng isang hodgepodge na hindi ganun pinag-isipan, na hindi ganun katalinuhan, magkikita akong pera. Di ba ang simple? Sabihin negosyante, okay, no-brainer yun. Oh, edi gumawa sila ng Showtime, gumawa sila ng ASAP, gumawa sila ng kung ano na parang gumawa sila ng talent na ng kukutsa ng tao para mapapatawang mga tao. I mean, circus, 'di ba? Gawa tayo ng circus para maraming sponsor. 'Di ba yun ang wala matuto? Okay lang
na,
'yun.
boy, dapat maintindihan ng viewers natin kung bakit importante na napapag-usapan natin yung edukasyon ng ating mga kababayan dahil alam nyo, yung ano mga nirereklamo nyo ngayon na problema ng gobyerno ay lahat po yan ay attributed sa level of education rin ng ating nating mga
Kababayan.
kababayan. Kasi saan ba nanggagaling itong mga na-hire sa gobyerno? Eh, galing rin sa ating mga communities. And if their level of understanding or know-how or skill ay mababa lang, kumbaga, you reap what you sow eh.
Exactly.
Kung sa ano pa, kung technical term pa sa computer, sa computer sciences pa, garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
If you use low quality, then expect low quality in return. Now, we should
Yeah.
try to figure out, like, let me read some of the yung mga messages na pumapasok rin, sabi ni Shadi Sutare. Buti napansin nyo yung education system ng Pilipinas. Sa tinagal-tagal na parang walang pumapansin sa quality of education, bakit ni isang education secretary walang ginawa para ayusin o bigyan pansin? Yan. Kahit mga books na ginagamit para malihis ang history at pangalagaan ng ating bansa sa mga nagmamanipula sa dapat ituro, bakit ni isang senatong o congressman walang umaalma. Kasi ganun nga po yun, parang gawin na rin natin, sige, gawin natin example ng ABS-CBN. Kung ikaw yung decision maker sa programming, yung program director, let's say, ng TV station, ang unang isipin mo, paano ba tayo mag-rate? So kung the way to make the station rate is to create programs na hindi naman na hindi naman educational but more on it connects with your audience, then that's what we're going to do because we want to make money. In the same
Yeah.
vein, our politicians are thinking the same way. To them, politics and government is a money-making endeavor. Sad to say, magpakatotoo na lang tayo, si presidente lang yata yung talagang ang puso ay talagang sa pagbago ng korupsyon at pagbago ng pag-iisip ng gobyerno, ng mga nagtatrabaho sa gobyerno. Pero hindi natin maalis yung katotohanan na marami pa rin sa ating mga politisyan at mga nagtatrabaho sa gobyerno, mga ating tinatawag na dapat na public servant, ay talagang hindi naman nandyan para mag-serve. Nandyan sila para kumita.
Kumita, yes, totoo yan.
Di ba? So lahat ng
Totoo yan.
kanilang gagawin, simula sa panahon, sa time na umupo sila, ang iniisip nila ay paano ba tayo kikita dyan?
It's a
Diba?
huge syndicate. The Congress and the Senate.
Paano
Ano
ba tayo
yan?
kikita dyan?
Sindikato yan.
What's in it for me?
Yeah.
So, that's reflective of all the different laws or bills they passed through the years. And the quality of
Totoo yan.
the quality of effort, yung effort na ginagawa nila to improve the lives of people are half baked, because to them they just want to show people that we're doing enough, but the reason why we're doing this is for show lang.
Exactly.
We're half-hearted lahat dahil at the end of the day, it's just really about where do I get my money.
Tsaka, punan nyo ba mga kaibigan na instead na gawing maganda ang educational system ng Pilipinas, ang ibang mga batas na nilalabas ay kung paano papalitan ng pangalan ng ganitong kalye. Di ba? Yun yung inuuna.
Di ba? Hindi, gito yan eh. Kung kunyari ikaw mayor ka, tapos alam mo, 70% ng population ko mahihirap. Nakatira sila dito sa mga lugar na to, sa mga distrito na to, at ano kayang kulang? Bakit kaya hindi nila mapaangat-angat yung kanilang mga sarili galing sa kahirapan? Dekada na sila nandyan, hanggang ngayon mahihirap pa din sila. Ano kayang pwede kong maitulong sa aking mga constituents at sa kanilang mga anak para yung mga anak nila ay pwedeng maging pwedeng magbago sa kanilang kinatatayuan. Di ba, boy? Hindi ganun mag-isip yun eh. Ang inisip lang, sige, gawan niyo ng basketball court. Lagyan mo ng pangalan ko, ha? Sa gilid.
Alam mo, may isa pa akong teorya dyan. Kunyari, may isang lugar na talamak ang droga. Kunyari, tapos may isang politician tumatakbo. Do you think that politician will educate these people para mawala sa kanilang consciousness ang pagbebenta ng illegal na droga? Kasi kung ako yung may negosyo at ako nagpapasok ng negosyo sa kanila ng droga, bakit pag-aksaya ng panahon na i-educate tong mga to? Kasi pag in-educate ko tong mga to, patay negosyo ko ng droga. Patay. Tapos na po negosyo ko. Umangat sila sa buhay nila, pero patay negosyo ko sa droga. So wala nang kukontak sa akin na, okay ba yung mga bata ko dyan sa Baseco? Hindi na po kasi matatay na silang lahat eh. Hindi na ako bibigyan ng droga kasi bahala ka sa buhay mo. Yung drug lord ngayon, yung sino pang higher up, hindi na ako bibigyan ng supply. Wala na akong kita. Ba't ko gagawin yun kung ako yung tatakbo?
So ibig sabihin yung benefits of having people who are still poor outweighs the benefits of the uplifting their lives or improving their lives or making their lives better, because as poor people who lack education, who lack the resources to get a better education, and these are also the same people who are susceptible to doing the wrong things kasi gusto nila ng escape. Sila rin yung number one customer mo sa droga.
Exactly.
Kung mahirap ka, gusto mong mawala, ang dumi-dumi ng lugar mo, ang gulo-gulo, napakalit ng tinitirahan mo, gusto mo ng some form of escape. It's either makukuha mo sa inuman, makukuha mo sa pagbabarkada, makukuha mo sa pagdroga. Kaya yung vicious cycle na to ay piniperpetuate ng ating mga politicians. Sometimes unintentionally, it's something that they are very passive about. They know it's happening. But meron naman yung sobrang sophisticated yung kalokohan. Naisip nila, wag nating ano yun yan, wag nating baguhin yung ano na yan, setup na yan. Sila yung, sa kanila natin nakukuha yung boto natin eh. Bakit natin babaguhin? Bakit natin
Yes.
bigyan ng edukasyon yung mga yan? Kung
Yun.
baka matauhan. Baka tanggalin yung helmet. Di ba?
Exactly.
Yun ang problema. Ngayon sabi ni Jess Saniel, lalayo pa po ba tayo ng example? Madam na lang example na mababang kalidad ng edukasyon. Si Madam. Madam na pala pangalan niya talaga.
Yun na yun.
Si Madam. Sabi ni Ronan pala, it is very easy to fool, manipulate, bribe, and enslave the poor. Sadly, majority of the population in the Philippines are poor. So it goes to show, no, boy, talagang if you want to address poverty, because this has been like millions of times being used by the left, that the problem of the Philippines is poverty. But they always talk about the problem and they don't offer any long-lasting solution to the problem.
Oh, ito ka. Sige, the leftists always go and say, kahirapan, dapat wala na yan, blah, blah, blah. But tama ka, they do not offer solutions. And why? Because if they offer solutions to poverty and it actually worked, sino recruit nila?
Tama. Wala na silang marirecruit sa kanilang wala na silang purpose, mawawalan sila ng sense of purpose sa kanilang pamumuhay dahil itong kanilang audience, itong kanilang mga nililinlang ay
matalino na.
Dahil matalino na. 'Di ba? So at the end of the day, I just came to a realization, boy, because of all these things I've watched on Netflix, that sabi ko siya, may pakinabang pala sa kanood ng Netflix eh. Nagkakaroon ng magandang insight, no? Na hindi lang, ang poverty is just the result. Kumbaga, that is something is endemic to poverty, which is the lack of education.
Yes.
And I think countries like Singapore, the first world countries, yung mga bansa, talagang merong what's the word for this? It's happening simultaneously. Yung progress ay hand in hand, in the same level, nag-i-increase rin yung education, yung level of education ng mga tao. So talagang magkaroon dapat ng focus on educating. Siyempre, wala na tayong magagawa dun sa mga matatanda. Pero meron din naman silang option to pursue their education. But the kids of today, definitely, we really need to really make sure that proper, or at least yung boy, no? Na meron naman silang opportunity to
get a better education, no?
To get a better education, to get the high quality education.
You talked about opportunity. I would like to dimensionalize it a bit, no? I just thought of it. Iba kasing dimension yung urban poor sa yung mga galing, iba yung may hirap na galing probinsya na naghanap ng oportunidad sa Maynila o sa syudad tapos hindi nakakuha ng tamang kanilang inaasahan, tapos ayun, nagkapagsapalaran, hindi nangyari, naging mahirap kasi nga walang kita. Diba? I would like to believe most of them went with drugs, life of crime, and what have you, namamalimos, nauto ng sindikato siguro, whatever. So itong mga, I would like to believe matatalino to kasi galing to sa probinsya tapos gusto makipagsapalaran lang sa Maynila. I'm sure maraming mga natapos ng high school, maraming mga natapos or nasa mid-college na nagpunta sa Maynila at hindi nakakahanap ng wastong trabaho. Kasama sila dun sa collective ng urban poor nasa Maynila. Sila, educated sila pero they had no choice. So, isa rin sila sa mga dapat isipin natin na paano rin maiibsan yung paglikas from the rural areas at pumunta doon sa urban pero wala naman talaga opportunities. Kasi ako, anecdote lang meron naman akong dati may caddy ako sa Veterans Golf Club. May caddy ako na bata pa. Tapos matagal siya nagka-caddy sa akin. Sabi ko, gusto mo ba mag-caddy o kung may iba kang trabaho, anong gusto mong trabaho? Kasi sana yung laging may 9 to 5 na job tapos every quinzena sumisweldo siya. Regular na sahod. Kasi ang mga kaibigan, yung pagkakadi sa larong golf, walang kasiguraduhan yan kung kikita ka sa isang araw o hindi. Kung umuulan, at walang naglalaro, wala kang kita. Okay, so ganun, yun. Tsaka no work, no pay yun. Kung hindi ka pumasok, wala kang kita. So mahirap, walang kasiguraduhan kung meron kang kikitain sa araw-araw. Ngayon, sabi ko sa kanya, kung mapasok kita sa ibang trabaho na may kinsel sa sweldo, aalis sa pagkakadi. Sabi niya, sir, aalis ako, kukunin ko yun. So, anong nangyari ngayon, nung nasa ABS pa ako, may isang contractual company na ahensya na ang tawag nila doon, EGC. Kalimutan yung acronym ng EGC, pero sila yung sanitary group. Okay, janitorial services, sanitary group, waste management ng kumpanya. Pero third party yun. Ibig sabihin, hinar sila. Sabi ko, may opening ba kayo dyan? Meron sir, basta, bigyan nyo namin yung resume, whatever. Sabi ko, mag-submit ka. Sinabit ko, para sa kanya. Natanggap. Tapos sabi niya, sir, alis na ako sa pagkakati. Natanggap na ako doon. Pero contractual pa lang. Okay lang yun, sadyan ka na. Every 15 days, kumikita ka. Wala pang 6 months, pinadala siya sa Taiwan.
Oh?
Yes. Sabi ko, magsipag ka lang. Nasa Taiwan siya ngayon. Hanggang ngayon, sa Taiwan siya. Nadala niya natin pamilya doon eh. Alam ko, nandun yung pamilya niya eh. Di ba? Isa pa, kadi rin sa veterans, pero matandang kadi ito. Nasa Canada na siya ngayon, living for about 10-15 years there. Tapos ang trabaho niya doon, naging educated siya doon. Ang trabaho niya nasa postal service. He holds 3 jobs eh. Nasa postal service siya. Tapos may sariling courier services siya. Siya mismo yung nagplantala nagdi-deliver. Wala siyang tao. Pero nasa Canada siya. At ang ganda ng buhay niya. What am I saying? May mga tao kasi na had a choice or nagkaroon ng oportunidad and they grabbed it. Kinuha nila, they made a decision in their lives na kukunin ko to, determinado ako para umangat ang umasenso ako. Ganon. Ngayon, what the sad thing is, konti lang silang ganon eh. Mas marami yung bukas anong kakainin ko? Para makakain ako bukas, bibenta na ako ng droga. Easy money eh. So what am I saying? Yung laziness ng tao, regardless Pilipino ka man o Chinoy ka man o Amerikano man, regardless of the nationality, yung pagkatamad, ang laking factor yun sa pagiging mahirap. Sabi ko sa inyo, kung masipag ka, there's no reason why you cannot be or you cannot be progressive or you cannot be well off. At least yung may konting luho on the side. Kung masipag ka, pero kung tamad ka, walang mangyayari sa'yo. Wala talaga. At kung sabihin, wag kang hindi ko alam kasi mahihirap lang kami. Ba't ka mahirap? Kasi wala akong edukasyon eh. Ba't hindi ka mag-aral? Di ba? May ganun din. Two sides of the coin, Ron. Yung gusto, kunyari lang, lahat sila gusto mag-aral. Kunyari lang, lahat ng mga urban poor, lahat ng mahihirap, 70% of the poor they want to learn. What if? Pero the educational system won't let them have a good education. What if the lawmakers won't let them have it? Di ganun din. Diba? Ganun din eh. Diba? Magandang po, ganun din. So what am I saying? At least kalahati. At least yung 50%, kasi 50% the poor, the people. 50% are the lawmakers at yung sistema. Okay. Kalahati man lang, kahit yung kalahati man lang sabihin na, gusto namin matuto. May kusa, may sipag, may tiyaga, wala yung katamaran. At least half of the battle now is won kasi gusto na nila eh. Ang problema kasi ngayon, walang may gusto. Kasi everybody feeds them. The lawmakers feed them. The poor feeds the lawmakers. I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. Walang progress. Hanggang dun lang yun. That's the problem. That's the problem. Lungkot, di ba?
Actually, yeah. No, but there is hope for nakita mo ba yung bagong survey? Never mind. But I wanted to segue to another topic, but I just want to read first.
Franco.
May mga messages pala dito from like ito kay Edison Yee. This is pertaining to si Leni. She can run to oblivion for all we care. This country do not need her kind. Like ABS-CBN's demise, we continue to live our daily lives with ease and comfort.
That's true.
That's true. Lady, good evening. Watching from Hong Kong. Thank you so much for watching, by the way. Sabi naman ni Juan, this is from our YouTube channel. Meron po tayong YouTube channel ng Istoryang Futbolero ay may YouTube channel. So kung gusto niyo panoorin ang Istoryang Futbolero sa YouTube, paki-follow, like, share. Tsaka yung notification na button, pindutin na lang po ninyo para alam niyo na meron tayong programa na umiere. Sabi ni Juan de la Cruz na nang Leni tatakbo sa Prexi, kawawa ang Pilipinas. So I just let's show this, no? And I know grabe na naman siguro reaction dyan. Ang overreaction pa naman ng opposition when they see things like this is very the word would be predictable. Boy.
Yeah. Ang pinakita mo na. Ang nakakalungkot nga din kasi alam mo yun yung pagdating ng eleksyon, smartmatic pa rin hawak eh.
Ayan tinan nyo. Mga kaibigan, ito po ay survey. Lumabas to sa, TV Patrol ba to? Saan ba to lumabas, boy? Itong...
GMA.
GMA. GMA ba to? So, next survey. 2022 elections, presidential preference. Survey
if the elections happen tomorrow.
January 26 to February 1. And voila. Si Sara at 22%. And
grabe.
Layo, no? Yung iba, dikit-dikit eh. Even kasama na si Pacquiao dyan,
Kaya kayang i-manipula ng Smartmatic yan?
Pero I can imagine if Pacquiao and Marcos concedes to, let's just say if Sara runs, kahit na half of this goes to Sara's candidacy, you probably get the same votes as her dad. Mga nasa around 30% of the votes.
That's true.
Come 2022.
Ngayon, to si Isko won't run, di ba?
I guess, ngayon ang question ko dito, boy, is, do you think, I mean, alam mo, it's weird, no? Mahilig tayo, we like comparing ourselves to the United States, but there has never been a female president in the US. Wala pang babaeng nananalo pagka-presidente sa Amerika. Malapit sana si Clinton. That was very close, but he got beat by a black man in Barack Obama. And then they thought that she had the chance, and then she ran against Donald Trump. Unfortunately,
worse and worse.
She didn't get enough, votes from. Hindi niya yung ang tawag nito. She had enough popular votes to beat Trump.
Yeah.
Pero pagdating doon sa electoral college, which the one that matters, she didn't get enough numbers sa electoral college, which is unfortunate. Pero sa atin, there have been two female presidents, boy, di ba? Cory and GMA.
Yeah.
Which is surprising for a parochial, society such as ours, that very male dominant pa rin, di ba? Kahit pa paano.
Necropolitics naman nangyari kay Cory. Tsaka revolutionary government yung nangyari yun, ha? Tandaan nyo. Revolutionary government yun.
Patriarchal nga tayo, di ba? Parang we're male dominated, tapos but so the question is, boy, well, given this, GMA was a decent president. She did so many things for the economy. That's one thing that we need to give her credit for. Dati medyo pa tayo, yung ating economic growth natin was sort of like stuttering. And then when GMA came in, she sort of like talagang it became very stable.
Ekonomista
Exactly. And then it helped also that she set that up for both Pinoy and PRRD. Now the question is, do you think another female president can provide the continuity that we need from the from all the good things that has happened in this administration?
Your question is, do you think we need another female?
Do you think a female president to follow PRRD is the best way to go about it? Given, of course, that, if let's not base it on popularity. Obviously, Sarah is very popular. But do you think she has what it takes? Or do you think Lenny can do the job?
Lenny is out of the question for sure. Wala na yan. Wala na. Do you want Lenny to lead? It's gonna be in shambles, you know that.
Why do you say that way? I mean, to be fair, what is your rational take on the idea of having a Robredo presidency?
Okay. For me, if Lenny wins, she will not lead the country absolutely. Her advisors and the galamais around her will, not her. She'll be another
What made you say that?
She'll be another Pinoy na walang hindi siya decide sa sarili niya. Meron talagang mag-decide for her or kapag siya nanalo. Why? I mean, ngayon pa lang ang nagpapatakbo ng kanyang opisina ay puro PR. Oh, that speaks volumes. Who in the right mind will do PR stunts as giving out spaghetti? Alam mo lang, they have less than 2 years to campaign. Bakit spaghetti and black olives to the poor? Are you crazy? And you will hold press cons left and right with pretentiousness.
I want to really discuss this in a very objective manner.
Yeah.
Give us examples of what Lenny has done since she became vice president, and even before that, if you like, when she was still a congresswoman, that made you think that this person is not capable of running the show, knowing how complicated it's going to be and how the task will be for a president to run the country.
Sige. To be fair, being a vice president now, an incumbent vice president, ano ba mga ginawa nila na pwede nating sabihing maganda? Well,
na valid
during the crisis, during crisis, calamities. Nagpapasalamat din naman ako bilang mamamayan. Tumutulong siya. Kahit sabihin na nila na parang pakitang tao lang, it's all for show, at least tumutulong siya. Okay. Merong may fundraising, merong relief operations, what have you. Okay. Ang tawag doon, ano pang tawag ng magandang term doon? Social work. Okay. Meron siyang social work. Okay, which is good. Pero wala akong nakitang legislative, wala akong nakitang abogado siya. So, I was expecting more. Okay? Not if you're a spare tire. Okay, if you're a spare tire. Kahit na spare tire ka, dapat meron kang sariling agenda or programa para mawala man lang yung stigma of being a spare tire as a VP. She was given and offered a positions in the cabinet, pero hindi niya na-exploit eh. Okay? Hindi 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 niya na inabuso. Those were good, very very good position. Even the housing, but di niya ginawa yung housing. Hindi niya pinagbuti yung sa housing. Ang laki-laking oportunidad doon. Kasi nakakabit sa kahirapan eh.
Hmm.
Diba? Or sino ba yung mga past VPs na active sa iba-ibang mga plataforma ng gobyerno while waiting, quote unquote, for the president to die? Kasi naman talaga trabaho nila, just wait for the president to step down or
Has there
fall
been
gravely ill.
exceptional vice presidents in the past? The ones we can think of right now, Binay was vice president. Si Kabayan was
Yung,
vice president.
alam ko si Kabay may mga nagawa na rin eh. Yung mga nagawa rin. Si Binay hindi ko maalala kung meron. Okay, because I'm so ayoko talaga siya eh. Pero
Si Erap was the PACC,
yeah,
uh,
PICC.
yung anti-crime, di ba?
Yeah. At
na
tsaka
offer.
the past VPs, kahit na oposisyon sila, hindi sila nagbabatmouth ng gobyerno.
Oh,
Okay, the
tama.
present admin.
Sino bang vice president ni Ang vice president ni Pinoy was Binay.
Pero did Binay say, ay, gago tong si Binay, bla bla, wala namang ganoon eh.
Wala.
Ginawa yung trabaho niya, tumahimik siya, ginawa yung trabaho niya, and that's it.
Si
Diba?
GMA, sino bang vice president ni GMA? Si Kabayan.
Ikabayan. Oh. Na alam ko naging cabinet member si Kabayan, if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, pero may ginawa siya na pro government ika nga. Pero right now, I emphasis on the pro government. Itong si Lenny, name me one effort from the OVP na pro government. Wala eh.
Wala eh.
Name me. Wala.
Alam mo, I think she's the first ever vice president. Guys, please tell us if we're wrong. She's the only vice president in the entire planet that is very adversarial against her own administration, against the
Most probably.
no? I mean, sino kaya? Gusto ko talaga malaman kasi magandang ano to eh.
Ay, Ron,
Trivia.
siguro hindi kaya dahil na nasa election procedures din natin na hindi kasi package deal ang VP tsaka president.
Alam mo na pag-usapan din yan dahil kay Lenny, yung lumalakas yung boses towards having a tandem vote for president and vice president like in the United States. It's a package deal. If you vote for a certain president, yung vice president niya ang magiging vice president. Diba?
Kaya siguro tayo lang may ganun.
Alam mo explanation ng mga ginawa niyan, yung mga framers niyan, the person who came up with it? Not sure tuloy kung yung 1972 Constitution was had a tandem vote, but the reason why they separated the president and the vice president, you can vote separately, is because puro check and balance pa rin ang iniisip nila. Sa tingin nila, by having somebody from the opposition become vice president, may natural opposition to certain abuses. Na kung abusado yung presidente, yung vice president, which Lenny is talagang playing the role of that. Right?
Yun ang trabaho ng ng Senado eh.
Yan ang trabaho ng legislatura. Hindi po trabaho ng vice president yan. Kaya nga in our democracy, it's the way it's set up the way it is because the legislative, the judiciary are all separate entities in government.
Yeah.
So there is a check and balance, and the
VP is part of the executive branch.
Correct. Well, in the United States, though, the vice president presides over the Senate.
Oh yeah.
There is that too. But of course, the vice president, like as you can see, dun sa yung impeachment ni Trump, at saka nung nagkaroon yung pagbilangan ng votes ng sa Amerika, si Pence was very neutral about it. He was just he was just playing his role as a presiding official for the
That's
Senate.
true.
But going back to that, tama ka boy, sana nga naman ay magkaroon din tayo ng efforts if we are to amend the Constitution, which I doubt na it's going to include any political amendments. Sabi ni Tito Soto, Senate President Tito Soto, na hindi, unlikely. The only thing that they will support is an economic chacha, removing the FDI restrictions. But anything outside of that, they will not consider. So guys, yung ating mga gustong ito pa lang question na probably for later, kasi since we're winding down our program here, boy. So malamang Boma Labs na yan si Lenny. Sarah, on the other hand, given her her track record, albeit na mayor of Davao after PRRD left the mayorship, she did even I think she won up the president in terms of how she went about her business. Kasi mas technocrat si Sarah eh. At very professional na to a point na talagang she's stricter than the president daw.
She's Duterte on steroids.
Yeah, Duterte on steroids. So we're going to be in good hands if ever she does decide to run. And you can see naman the surveys will show that a lot of people want her to run. And I hope I hope she does for our sake. And then by that time, siguro boy, we can definitely lobby. We should lobby for a better educational programs.
Sure.
We should increase the level of our tertiary, especially for the kids. Yung ating, dito yun eh, yung mga batang mahihirap, dapat pinaka-importanting mangyari ay mabigyan sila ng magandang platform. Magkaroon sila ng pagkakataon to get talagang quality education. Because that's the only way they can get out of that hole. They can get out of poverty. And if we keep and the thing that you always that you hear people harp about all the time, that poverty is the reason for our problems, then the solution to poverty is really education. Tama ba, boy?
That's true. That's
education true. We can't hide the fact from and it's going to be a long process. People should understand. That's why it's very important. The next person who will run the show after PRRD should continue the reforms. Because if we're going to go back to the same system, the same type of governance, wala. Back to zero na naman tayo, and it's going to be status quo. Buboy and I will become apathetic again. About politics, because like most of our brothers and sisters, the fellow citizens natin, what's the point? Yung tanong parate, what's the point? It's the same shit. No?
That's true.
Yun. Si Ronan talagang hardcore na to eh. Hardcore correct movement advocate. Dapat education and openness to FDIs. Alam mo, tama yan, Ronan. Dapat talaga ma-open yung ating I can't see any other way to get the ball running or get the ball rolling. No? Better education requires investment. We need money.
That's true.
We need more taxes to fund improving our education. And how can we do that if we are going to maintain what we have right now, given the fact that we've lost so much in this pandemic? But companies are still trying to bounce back. We even have like foreign investments that pulled out from the country because they opted to go to countries like Vietnam, who talagang made it a policy to open their economy to foreign investment. I think
Singapore.
It doesn't take in-depth study, which some of our congressmen talagang analysis paralysis na naman eh. Alam mo yung parang
they will grandstand eh. They will grandstand because it's their moment eh. Talaga.
Di chacha kailangan ayuda. Hindi chacha kailangan ayuda, ayuda kailangan, hindi chacha. Parang sloganeering ang ang alam ng mga yan. Wala talagang totoong solution. It's just para lang mabasa sila sa newspaper, para lang makita sila yung mga pagmumukha nila sa social media. Yan lang
That's true.
yung oversimplification of situations. And most of the time, boy, sad to say, some of the comments coming from our politicians are not even well thought of. Sa kanila, it's just intuitive sa kanila na if I say this, this is gonna I'm gonna be on the news. It's all about
Yeah.
getting
Exposure.
exposure, and they
Exposure
don't
lang
even
yan.
study thoroughly the subject matter. Yun ang problema dyan. Sabi ni Nielsen
Eh.
Obligar, sabi ni Adrian Tepes, pwede ba yun? May mga mag-invest para sa education pag nagkaroon ng FDI? Dito yun, sir. Pag nagkaroon tayo ng mas malaking investment portfolio from all these foreign companies coming in, because they will see, oh, look, the Philippines is open for business. It's a lot better now. They don't have any restrictions. I don't have to worry about. And Elon Musk, for example, boy, will not have to worry about haggling with Filipino investors or Filipino partners, having control over the board because the foreign entity only owns 40%, diba? So they don't have control
Yeah.
over the company. Yes, there are ways to circumvent that. For appearance sake, they have dummy, dummy board members,
Yeah.
companies. Kunyari, Filipino-owned, but it's foreign. But do you actually think the big investors, if they have the choice to invest in a country like Vietnam, without having to circumvent any laws, do you think they will choose us over Vietnam na talagang walang ganyang klaseng restrictions? Of course not. Because they will always factor in the risks. Diba? The risk involved.
Yeah.
And paano ko yung mga Filipinos biglang isipin nila, oh, you know what? We want the entire company for ourselves. Meron ng knowledge transfer. We've learned from you on how you run your business. So, you know what? We're gonna do it on our own. There's no
Or buy them out.
Ha?
Or buy them out kung kaya nila.
Correct. So, going back to that comment, ADN, pag nagkaroon tayo ng mas maraming foreign investment, I think it's safe to say that this will generate more jobs. This will generate more income, revenue for the government through taxes. And once we have more taxes that we can generate from all these new businesses coming in from foreign investors, then we will have enough money to pay for quality education for the poor.
Meron din na possibility na kunyari, magandang example kay Elon Musk kunyari na mag-invest siya dito. And Elon Musk is in the business of technology and sciences, di ba? Hindi rin malayo mangyari na if may kumpanya siya dito and they're trying new stuff, or let's say space exploration or the sciences, hindi malayo na mangyari na may pera naman siya, pwede siyang gumawa ng special school na dabbling on the sciences. Okay. Now, that's another form of helping the educational system in the country. Pwede siya mag-hold ng scholarships para sa mga matatalino mahihirap. Tapos ilagay niya doon, pag-aralin niya doon, o sino magaling, o di makinabang siya sa negosyo niya. Diba? Ganun lang yun. Yun is an advantage of a foreign entity who has the money to invest in his business and invest in education so that his business can benefit from it.
I actually read an article from a Vietnamese publication about the policies of that government, and I think this was an article that was published in 2018. And they were talking about the open policy of Vietnam to foreign direct investment and why they sort of parang they prioritized opening their economy to foreign investment. And it was mentioned there that the part of opening your economy to foreign investment is that infrastructure usually follows suit. That's where
Yeah.
we see, like, itong mga foreign investors will set up their infrastructure here, and then they will build buildings, economic, business parks, di ba? Yan ang mga, dyan mag-uumpisa yan lahat. And then, this will stimulate growth in your economy because there's money coming in from foreign investment. And
Yeah.
normally, once that happens, is that people will get employed. And that's
True.
the bottom line. Guys, yun lang talaga yung point dyan eh. The reason we're advocating for foreign direct investment restrictions to be lifted is because we want to generate more jobs, considering the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic. And that's very much uh, important. And going back to Lenny Robredo, boy,
Hmm.
she doesn't seem to have that insight, no? Of
Wala.
kanya puro parang what can I say to sort of counter the narrative of the government. Diba? It's always like that. Wala siyang mga brilliant insight na, kahit na sa tingin ko nagme-make sense yung FDIs restrictions to be lifted or to open up our economy. Hindi siya ganun eh. Kasi kung matalino ka na tao, you will study it, the merits.
Yeah.
If your intention is to improve the lives of your countrymen, the Filipinos, the first thing you're gonna think is not, it's not because is the first thing you're gonna think about is whether or not what the government is doing will have a positive effect. If it does, then you agree with it. But if no, and you think there's a better solution, you will actually disagree and say, alam mo, sana si PRRD will do this na lang instead. Because I think this will pave the way for kumbaga to in boosting our economy, in helping us recover. Wala siyang ganun eh. Puro lang siya,
Siyempre wala siyang gano'n. Hindi naman niya core competency yun. Ikaw naman.
kaya nga, guys, yung tanong, babalik ko pa rin, sa tingin nyo, sa challenge natin to have continuity in 2022, sa tingin nyo babae ba ang pinaka the best na magpatakbo? Or if it's a woman, if you agree, if you're okay with a woman running the show after PRRD, given that PRRD has been very decisive, authoritative in making sure that we curb corruption and help the poor, mga ganyan, and also decisive in dealing with all these different problems that surfaced. Lalong-lalo yung mga natural disasters, mga ganyan. Sa tingin ba ninyo, to have a continuity of sorts, a woman can do the job? And if it's a woman, who do you think is better to do that? There you have about three choices, no? You have
Yeah.
Sarah, you have Lenny, you
You
have
have
Grace.
Grace.
No? Yun yung tatlo, no? Meron
Yeah.
pa bang iba, boy?
No.
Okay. Sabi ni Melda
Well,
Panaligan, a big no for Lenny. That says it.
well, tama naman sinabi ni Rona, no? It's not about gender. Yeah, of course, it's not about gender. It's a matter of who is capable and competent enough to lead the country. Diba? Now, kasi, as far as I'm concerned, it's gonna be a choice between the three women. Syempre, nasa pinaka low-ranking third na si Lenny for me. Lalamunin siya ng buo ni Grace po.
Right.
Diba? Pero lalamunin ni Sarah yung dalawa. Abogada yun. At decisive. And may spine.
Only banat nila kay Sarah is yung kanyang incident with the barangay official, the sheriff ng
The
Davao.
sheriff, that sheriff overstepped his own boundaries din naman kasi.
Pero
diba?
Yun yung pinaka-favorite nilang gamitin na na black propaganda against Sarah, yung incident na yun. But actually,
Wala yun.
Most people are very I find it amusing because
Wala yun.
diba, it only goes to show that she is the president's daughter. in terms of no bullshit no bullshit yung kanyang way of running the city is ano talaga, no nonsense, di ba?
Yeah,
Kaya,
tsaka si Lenny kasi ano eh. Si Lenny naman kasi, all from the get-go, there was only one goal and one agenda. To overthrow. That's the agenda. There was never another agenda. That's it. To overthrow the government. To overthrow the presidency. That's the only agenda from day one.
hmm.
That's it. And they've been fading for the past 5 years. Yun. So that that speaks volumes. A vice president out to quell the so-called dictatorship. For me, that's not a vice president.
Yeah.
Diba?
Kawawa
Paano
naman.
nga, ano, diba?
Looks like it's gonna be a long decade for the Liberal Party. It's gonna be a while
Ah,
before they see the
yeah,
the doormats of Malacanang Palace.
baka hindi na nga mangyari yun eh.
Dennis Howe with olives. Sabi niya, with olives, layo dyan, libre na
Konji,
mayo.
Konji. Puta na Konji.
Sabi ni Lorimer Redaha, Lenny is a member of NATO. No action, talk only. Dami tayong mga smart ass na viewers sa Buboy, no?
Oo nga eh.
Uh,
Nakakatawa magbasa eh.
guys, by the way, we're gonna be hanging out with Attorney Glenn Chong tomorrow. So we'll get a chance to meet him personally tomorrow with one of our friends from Boracay. Actually, meron tayong mga problema sa Boracay that needs a little bit of attention because alam mo ba, boy, na they're planning to create something similar to Subic. Di ba may port authority ang Subic?
Yeah,
It's run by the national government, di ba? They're planning to
yep.
do that with Boracay.
In Boracay, nako.
Hindi
Gulo
kasi
yan.
ang problema kasi boy sa Boracay, boy. Iba ang mentality ng local doon, yung officials doon eh. Cash cow kasi Boracay. So
Yep.
yung talagang talamak yung corruption doon kahit sino pa yung nagpapatakbo. And
Eh,
ibang klase. And it's such a small community. If you think about it, Boracay is a small island.
hindi mo
And
rin mabasisisi yung mga Aklanons eh. Mga Aklanons kailangan kumita.
oo, pero I think it's about time that the national government step in like what they did in the rehabilitation of the island. If they if they exceed or let the local officials again run the show, man, it's just gonna go back to what it was before. I think it's about time that ends. And there's also
Yeah.
like you know definitely the drug campaign of the president is working. More people are now in rehabilitation. Marami tayong mga communities talaga na are almost drug free. But at the
Mhm.
same time, one thing that goes with that is there are certain abuses, syempre, that is still that needs to be addressed by some members of our police, and it's alleged na parang merong mga ganong nangyayari sa Boracay that we will talk about. I think baka by Wednesday we'll have somebody from Boracay on Istoryang Futbolero to talk about it, and hopefully si Attorney Glenn will come back and join us again this Wednesday. So one thing I like about having Attorney Glenn is he gives us the right information and the knowledge on how to deal with abuses if you do encounter them. You have to know your rights, and the way to know what your rights are is through somebody who knows the law, and that would be somebody like Attorney Glenn and some of our lawyer friends here in Historia Futbolero. So
Yeah.
this Wednesday, go boy, kung libre ka, join us this Wednesday.
Kung hindi
Prop.
ako nag-smoke.
And then Monday, boy, next week, Monday, March 1. Oh, by the way, birthday yata ni, is it today or tomorrow? Birthday nating kaibigan, Franco Mabanta. We'll be
Oo.
celebrating his birthday this week. And so
Happy birthday, Franco.
I invited him over. He's going to be here on Monday for Historia Futbolero. So that
Nice.
should be cool. Yung ating youngest and very very smart, brilliant young PR operator. si, si Franco the man. And yeah, so March 1.
Kung libre ako, sama ako.
Sure, definitely. Giko Goody 8. I love the actions of Mayor Inday Sara against the Norty sheriff who makes his own ways and doesn't follow the court's rules to find relocation for the indigent people before you clear the depressed area. Okay, Geek. Salamat, Geek, for that. Si Nielsen Obligar, PRD level, quality when it comes to leadership and political will always be the comparison. Sabi ni ni Dominic Sulpico, only goes to show she's tough pertaining to Sara Duterte. So thank you guys, Nielsen, Ronan, Dennis, Adrian, Dominic, and all the viewers of Istoryang Futbolero. Si Jess, si Shady, Noy, Jason Chua. Sabi ni Jason Chua, we should build a strong middle class, but the problem is nagsilayasan na ang iba. Jimpy Presto from our YouTube channel, thank you so much for letting us know that you're watching our program tonight. Si Edison Yee, watching from Tacloban. And we actually have somebody from all the way from Davao City. Saan yung taga Davao dito? Enjoying herself watching Istoryang Futbolero. Imelda also is watching Istoryang Futbolero tonight. Saan ba yan?
Yung mga friends natin from Dubai wala ngayon.
Wala ba sila or tahimik lang?
Pwedeng baka tahimik lang. May Hong Kong, Davao, Toronto.
Ayun, si Gigi Gore watching from Davao City on our YouTube channel. Paki-like, share, and click on the notification bell ng YouTube para you'd know that if we're online. Si Evelyn of Toronto, thank you for watching, ma'am. Buti lang hindi ka madam. Sino ba nag-invento ng madam? Ano, boy? Sino ba yan?
Feeling ko si Mark Lopez.
Si Mark Lopez ba yan? Si Marisol, salamat rin for watching. Si Isabelito, watching from Lukban, Quezon. Si Santi
Ayun,
Sante.
from Vienna, Austria and Europe, si Christina,
Ayan.
Cool. Yun yung pinakamalayo. We're 7 hours away. Ahead.
Grabe, no? 7 hours ba? Oo, no? 7 hours. Alam ko kasi pag UK parang +4. Let's say, kunyari 10:59 p.m. na ngayon.
11
sa America, 11 a.m. sa America, i+4 mo yun ang time sa UK.
Diba? Pero ahead tayo ng 7 hours.
Tama. Tayong ahead ng 7 hours. Okay, that's easier. Boy, any last messages? Of course, the Smokehouse. Yan naman dyan.
Oh, yeah. Nasa iyo yung pinadala ko yung link.
Nandito ba yung link? Sige, i-paste ko dun sa ating
Yan.
Guys, check out the link. At again, leading po si Ma'am Sara, si Sara Duterte, recent survey. Number one. 22%. No doubt. Bakit naman tayo, hindi ako nagtataka. 22%. Bakit number one si Madam?
Okay.
Taka, i-ano ko lang yung link mo, boy, para makita nila ating post, the Smokehouse.
Yes. Andyan.
Nakalink na dun sa nandun na sa ating post, sa ating streaming. So,
ayan.
Yun. And 10 a.m. daw sa Toronto. Daylight saving time na yata sila dun, boy.
Yeah.
Or back to the regular time. Back to the regular time. Ang daylight saving is naging advance yung oras sila, 'di ba? Kaya
by 1 hour.
Pag 11 p.m. dito, 11 a.m. sa East Coast. Ngayon, balik na sila sa regular time, which is 10 a.m. in Toronto, Canada. Si Christina Gontinas, kaya lagi na lang akong replay kasi sa work.
Okay lang yan.
Okay lang yan, Christina. Buti na lang. Pwede mong panoorin kahit anong time ang Istoryang Futbolero. Lalong-lalo na sa YouTube, no? sana po i-add nyo po kami or make that sana po i-follow nyo, i-share po ninyo yung ating YouTube channel and also press on the notification. So boy, that's it. Any last words? Apart from the fact that you are selling the amazing products, food products, the smokehouse.
Unahin ko muna yung message ko, takeaway natin sa buong session na to na kahirapan, di ba? Ang pag-uusapan kahirapan at edukasyon na laging magkadikit. So, ang sa akin lang, kahit anong estado ka ngayon sa iyong buhay, it will always boil down to perseverance. Bawal ang tamad. Lagi magsumikap. Yun lang naman. It all starts from you. Sa'yo magsisimula yan.
Tama.
Ngayon, kung tatamad-tamad ka, wala kang ganang mag-aral, wala kang ganang magtrabaho, wala kang ganang matuto, wala kang ganang umasenso. Saan ka pupulutin? Sa wala. Saan kung ka pupulutin? Kagagawan mo yun. Okay? Sa akin, I believe it's always been a choice. Do you choose to stay lazy and poor? Or do you choose to dig yourself out from that hole at umasenso? It's up to you. Yun naman yan, it's up to you. Now, having said that, since wala ko ng trabaho, nagpursige ako. Okay, may smokehouse ako ngayon sa online. Nagbebenta po ako ng smoked bacon, newest product, smoked bacon adobo, at saka yung aking smoked buong manok or iba sabi lechon manok, pero hindi ko nilechon yun. It was smoked for 6 hours, yung manok. So, would you imagine na yung juiciness tsaka yung smokiness nanunood dun sa manok. Si Ron nakatikim na ng bacon ko and nagustuhan niya at mabuti naman nagustuhan niya. Punta kayo dun sa Facebook page ng Smokehouse tapos umorder kayo dun kung gusto nyo. I'll be coming up with a new menu very very soon. Kasama dun yung may isa pa ako naisip na produkto na baka mag-hit Ron. Based on the smoked adobo na bacon, meron pa akong isa na iniisip. Teaser lang, it's gonna be smoked adobo. Smoked bacon caldereta.
Yo. Solid. Sounds very interesting. Paano? Kakaiba rin yung mga mga variants mo, boy. Looking forward to finding out those tastes. No? Tapos
sabi nito next time daw dapat may smokehouse habang nagpa-podcast.
Sabi ni Don. Thanks Don Guroya for watching. Dapat meron daw Ayan napaparinig na si Don. Boy. Sabi ni Dennis Howe, we end with Dennis Howe saying, open for franchising na ang BP's congee with olives.
Patay. Walang kukuha ng franchise na. Walang kukuha ng franchise na yan.
Ayos talaga kaya guys. Tama pala, magkikita tayo nila Jam Magno sa Thursday. Nagpapaturo si Jam sa pag-set up na kanyang vlog equipment. Ini-encourage namin siya mag-YouTube niya para hindi siya parating binabara ng Facebook at parating kasi siya nababan. Kaya sabi ko, Jam, you should go on YouTube. And that's exactly what she's gonna do. We're gonna help her out Thursday. Hopefully, ma-set up namin yung kanyang bagong equipment na courtesy of one of our viewers, boy. One of the viewers of Istoryang Futbolero donated vlogging equipment to Jam Magno. So we can't thank you enough, whoever you are.
Yeah.
To the kindness of your heart, after seeing Jam here on Istoryang Futbolero, decided that, whatever it takes, you will provide for her kasi kawawa naman yung kanyang gamit dati na lumang-lumang iPhone ay ngayon ay itong taon na to ay nagbagandang loob na bigyan si Jam ng panibagong equipment para sa kanyang vlog. Diba? Solid rin. We were able to contribute in our own little way, boy.
Walang ganyan ng dilaw. Tayo lang.
Wala yung tulong-tulungan, parang isang pamilya, di ba? Sa kanila kasi pera-pera ang usap-usapan doon eh. Lalo na kung gusto maging troll ng Dilawan. Balita ko, mga 30 mil a month yata yun, boy.
Wow. We're in the wrong job.
Ayun. Christina Gontinas, sana masipag at mahagap, Sir Buboy. Ayun.
Yeah.
So guys, thank you so much.
Okay.
Don't forget
Salamat.
follow the basic guidelines of the government. Sabi nga ni Presidente, ay hindi pa tayo mag-MGCQ unless, of course, magkaroon ng bakuna or vaccine. So while we're waiting for the vaccine, I make sure to follow the BIDA solution of the DOH. Bawal lang walang mask, sanitize sa mga kamay, i-distansya na 1 metro at alamin ang totoong impormasyon. Bawal po ang mag-spread ng fake news, lalong-lalo na on vaccines. Huwag po tayong maniniwala sa mga anti-vacciners dyan, sa mga tabi-tabi dyan. Walang maitutulong yan sa inyong pamumuhay. Diba, boy?
Correct.
Alright, peace out, guys. Have a good one.
Salamat.
Enjoy your night. Maraming
Thanks,
salamat.
Ron.
Huwag niyo
Thanks,
kalimutan
Ron.
panoorin ang College Behind Bars sa Netflix. Solid. Maganda. Diba, boy? Good night, guys. Bye. See ya.
Bye.